There are people out there all across the country pushing boundaries to grow the game of golf. Like champion speed golfer Lauren Cup, who plays faster than anyone else. And Will Lowry, whose work in the golf community inspires more kids to get into the game. As a champion partner of the Masters, Bank of America supports everyone determined to find out what's possible. In golf and in life. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, copyright 2025, Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Uh-oh. The last cookie.
You can get a new box of cookies in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Are you my guilty self-conscience?
No, I'm the voice offering you promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order.
Hey, who ate my cookies?
You mean, these cookies?
Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum subject to availability. Restrictions apply.
And welcome back again to the Skating Penguin Network, everyone. It is the evening of Tuesday, April the 8th, 2025. The Penguins just completed a game against the Chicago Blackhawks back home in the friendly confines of PPG Paintscreen. And as always, we are back here at the Skating Penguin Network with another recap show for this tilt. It is Robbie here, joined by Snail. And Snail, I don't know about you, but a 5-0 win you never balk at. But before we get into the details, how was your Tuesday, and what did you take away from this game?
My Tuesday's all right, Robbie. You know, I have you know what I hate is in this world we live in with technology and instant gratification, some places just don't have any urgency to ship out your order.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think, I don't know what the real, because I actually do own a company, but we don't deliver goods or ship goods out.
Yeah.
We perform a service. So maybe I have no idea, but I'd say if you run a business and it's your job to ship things out, would you say 3 days is probably weekends? If you order on like a Monday, it should only take you about 3 days to get your order printed, a UPS or a USPS label printed and set out for the carrier service. Would you say 3 days is probably appropriate?
You mean like out the door of like the facility?
Yes.
Yeah, unless it would be like some big sale that they just got swamped with orders. But I'm assuming you ordered from like a normal,
yes,
like company.
Yes, normal company. It was, and I would even give them the grace of 5 days if you ordered on a Friday or something, or a Saturday.
Yeah, you got
like a weekend order.
Yeah,
I would have the grace as a buyer to say, you know what, 5 days, fine.
If I ordered it Monday, it should, unless it has something that has to be handmade, it should be out the door by Wednesday.
By Wednesday, Thursday morning, I want to see my shipping updated at least.
Yeah.
And God forbid if it's on a Friday, whatever. At least you know that week. I ordered something 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
and
wow.
And it still says that it says that my tracking number and everything. I have a tracking number, but I go and look at it on UPS's website to see where it's at. It says UPS hasn't received it yet, meaning it's just sitting in their warehouse still for 2 weeks. Also, it's hard to get a hold of some of these companies. Like, you want to like email them. I sent them my like order number, and like my detail. I sent them pretty much the whole receipt, and I was like, "Look, what's going on with this? Email doesn't work. Got to find another email." I reached out on social media. I finally got a guy to respond to me, and he goes, "I'll check tomorrow." And I'm like, "Okay, so we're going on even longer now before I get to the bottom of this." that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's a because back in the day, Robbie, I'm sure when you were a kid, and maybe some of our listeners, certainly Garrett has no idea what we're talking about. You used to have to mail order stuff. You'd have to go into a magazine and you find the number and the item number, and you would call in and you would mail a check sometimes. And it would take a month sometimes to get your item. Like it took a long 3 weeks sometimes because it travels by snail mail. They process the order, they ship it out. I mean, we've come a long way. But I just feel like 2 weeks at this point, it's all I can think about today. It didn't ruin this Penguins win, which we'll get to the win in a second once I'm done griping. I'm pretty much done. I just think it's ridiculous. You have to wait 2 weeks for any sort of update on something that is available and ready. It's on their website, listed in stock. So that's what's got me a little fired up. But man, this Penguins game, it was fun to watch. It's fun. This is the game that I was expecting 2 days ago. You go in and you just wax this team. Jarry, the stock market right now, Robbie, the stock market is not in a healthy place. But you know whose stock just went up a couple of points is Tristan Jarry's. And that's good for the Penguins because that means that they can get this guy out of town maybe this offseason.
Yeah. That's 2 shutouts in 10 days now or something like that from Tristan Jarry. Again, it's the Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks, when they went down, they looked like they lost all interest in this hockey game. And I think the Blackhawks were expected, or at least themselves were expecting to take a step this season. And it feels like they actually took a step back. Not that they were going to be a playoff team, but when you have a guy like Connor Bedard in that team, you expect to take a significant step forward. And they are, it feels like they're down in the basement with San Jose, but San Jose just feels like they have so much more promise. It just feels like the vibes around these two teams are completely different right now. San Jose, they had a bad season, but you look at that, the future there looks bright. Whereas Chicago, it just feels rancid. It feels bad, and it looked bad tonight. Tristan Jarry did not look like he had much trouble at all tonight. He wasn't under siege, but he still just stopped 26 shots. Just not a good night for the Blackhawks. The Penguins, though, were clicking on all cylinders. Sidney Crosby back on the score sheet with his 31st of the year. Brian Rust had 2 assists. Billy Koivunen with an assist on the Erik Karlsson goal. He's up to 3 assists now since coming up. Chris Letang gets his first goal in a while. Evgeny Malkin gets in on the action. And then Kevin Hayes double dipped tonight. He gets his 12th and 13th of the season. Danton Heinen is out there. So,
big night for the veterans. The veterans just took over this game.
Yeah, the veteran. Yeah, Koivunen was the lone kind of young guy to get an assist in this. Connor Timmins and Connor Dewar keep racking up the points since coming to Pittsburgh as well. But yeah, the veteran. Yeah,
I like that Timmins guy, dude. Thank God we don't have anyone clipping sounds on this, but I literally was like, I think when he scored on the Penguins when Toronto played them, I was like, AHL defenseman, he should never score in a game. That guy's dog water, essentially. Comes to the Penguins, I like his game. He's playing his offside. Like him with Karlsson or Letang is not. You know how I feel about Letang this season. I'll say Karlsson. Him and Karlsson, I don't mind the pairing.
No, they're producing results better than what was going on earlier in the season. Timmins and Dewar, I think they came to Pittsburgh knowing they were restricted free agents and had to earn another contract. And, it feels like you could do much worse at those positions for the Penguins, especially going into next season. It helps you
get young.
Yeah, it helps you get younger. They don't have to be guys that eat up minutes. They can just be guys that go out there and produce in their roles and be fine with it.
Penalty kill, 5-on-5 defense. You need guys like that. And you got 2 of them that fell in your lap. Dubas obviously knew what he was getting in some capacity, but Connor McDewar, as I've been calling him, he kind of cooled off on the goal scoring. But I like his game. He's kind of like a little prick out there, hard to play against. Something that the Penguins historically, when they've been successful, they've got a plethora of guys that play like that. In recent years, they've really kind of foregone those kind of players and gone for, fringe skill guys. They just are looking for that little bit of extra offense. But I think with this retooling, you need guys like that if you want to build a successful team. You need guys that, you've got plenty of Sidney Crosby's. Billy Koivunen's looking like he's going to be a player. Malkin's still got that offensive touch. You need those blue-collar players that are just tough to play against, and they eat minutes, and they're safe in their own zone. And if they can chip in a goal here and there, then that's even better. But Connor Timmins on defense and Connor Dewar, you got to keep those guys, I think. I never thought I'd be saying that in April of a lost season, but here I am.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely earned their keep so far since they've come over, and they kind of just keep showing up on the score sheet, doing their job. Some nights they're a little more noticeable than others, but just because they're not noticeable doesn't mean that they are having a bad game. So sometimes the less you talk about a player, the better they played, and that certainly seems to be the case with these two guys. Another name tonight, he had 2 goals. Kevin Hayes. We said it when he was picked up that, listen, he's old and he's definitely not what he was at his peak. But yeah, ever since he got healthy scratch back in December, he's just played good hockey. I mean, it started out rough, no doubt about that. Not denying that at all. But he comes out tonight, or pretty much since that benching, and he has 13 goals now. I mean, I was going to be happy with 10, and he has an outshot side at 15 this year. So Kevin Hayes, another guy that just put together a solid season for the Penguins. In a bottom 6, it's been more disappointing than anything, but he's been one of their consistently best bottom 6 players.
Yeah, I love Kevin Hayes. I never had too many thoughts on him. He kind of was a player in the past, Robbie. I don't know if obviously he was kind of a bigger name when, he didn't sign with the Blackhawks when he was a draft legible, or he was drafted by the Blackhawks. Sorry.
Yeah.
He didn't sign with them. And he ends up he picks his city, and he got to go to New York with the Rangers, and the Penguins faced that, being a Metro team, they faced them a lot. I always thought there was a lot more there than what I'd seen from Kevin Hayes. I remember that one year he oddly got traded to like Winnipeg at the deadline, and I don't even know if he played in that series or they were playing him like third line, fourth line minutes. There was something weird going on there. And then I think he gets a big ticket in Philly, and that did not go well for him. And this year with Kevin Hayes, Tortorella and Sullivan kind of cut from the same cloth. One more of an extreme example in Torts, but Kevin left Philly. They did not see eye to eye on how to play hockey. And I have a feeling that this year when Sullivan benched Hazy for like 9 or 10 games, they were both Boston guys. Maybe Sullivan had a sit down with him and was like, dude, this is kind of it for you, man. Like, if you can't figure it out in a bottom 6 role at this age, like, dude, your time in the league, this is just me speculating. I can't really say what actually happened, but you'd have to think that there was a real conversation between those guys and him being like, dude, you haven't been able to stick around a franchise long. Yeah, you've got the offensive touch. Isn't his nickname like the very good one, or like instead of the great one, like Kevin Hayes was known in Boston as like the good one? I think I've heard that before.
Hollywood. I'm just looking. Yeah, Hollywood, Hazy, Big Cat. I'm not seeing the good one anywhere, but I can't really.
I want to say I saw somewhere in an interview that he was known as the good one. But my point being, the offensive touch has always been there, but the NHL, dude, it's like anybody, it's look at Daniel Sprong, great offensive player. That guy cannot stay on a team to save his life.
Yeah.
And since that benching by Sullivan, it just looks like there's been buy-in from Kevin Hayes.
Absolutely, there's been buy-in. And sometimes that's even the veteran guys. They need a little. They need a little lesson.
They need a kick in the rear end sometimes.
Yeah, they just need a little. They just need a little.
Not everyone is Sidney Crosby.
No, that's for sure. They just need a little kick in the ass, and that seems to work for Hayes. I mean, you can't really deny the results, that's for sure. And maybe next year we'll get, if things go right, we'll get a Hayes connection with
that would be something.
No relation, Avery Hayes, a nice young piece that the Penguins discovered who's playing in Wilkes-Barre this season. Maybe there's a Hayes connection there.
I'd love that. It seems also that maybe Sullivan had to learn a little bit too, because Hayes has that offensive touch, like I said, and that's 2 goals tonight. He's up to double digits in goals. I don't think we saw that coming from him this year, just given the minutes he was getting. But he's got a place on the power play. Like he works really well. And this year, at times, he's been a big piece to getting that power play cooking. So bottom 6 minutes with a little bit of top unit power play time because of that big frame and his, he's got silky mitts in tight areas for such a big guy. I think that Sullivan and him have come together and found a way to make it really work here. And I've heard he's just so great in the locker room. Like he's such a good team guy. And when your team is, out of the playoffs and this and that for the last couple of years, you need somebody that's just kind of like makes it easy to be in the room. And I think he's so valuable.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Springfest at Lowe's means can't miss savings for your home and lawn. Right now, buy 3 bags, get 3 free on Miracle-Gro 3/4 cubic foot all-purpose garden soil. Plus, buy 2, get 1 free on select exterior paint and stain via mail-in rebate. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/16, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. While supplies last, selection varies by location. See rebate form for complete list of eligible products. Offer excludes clearance and mist tints and can't be combined with any other offer, promotion, discount, or coupon.
Wow, this house is cute. But can I really get in the game in this economy? I do have savings, and I am responsible-ish. I should bury it. I'm being wild. But what if I'm not being wild, though? Could I actually score a...
Kick off your home buying journey with Zillow's new BuyAbility tool. It makes it easy to find out what you can afford, so you can get off the bench and onto the playing field with confidence. Check your BuyAbility, only on Zillow.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to tell you that Michelob Ultra is giving you the chance to win tickets to the NBA Finals. That's right, the 2025 NBA Finals. Just head to MichelobUltra.com/NBA Finals. Michelob Ultra courtside NBA Finals sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents, excluding Maryland residents. 21 up. Begins at 9 a.m. EST on February 16, 2025. Ends on May 5th, 2025. See official rules at MichelobUltra.com/rules for price and details. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
He definitely seemed like it. I mean, everything that we've heard about him has been positive from a teammate hockey perspective. And you never heard anything about him off the ice as well. So he was deeply, like when he was good in Philly, he was loved in Philadelphia when he had a couple of those really good seasons.
Yeah.
So all signs point to him being just a good hockey guy. And a team like this, especially next year when they're going to probably, hopefully, be even younger, a guy like that is going to be super valuable, especially if he can have a repeat of another 15-ish, 20-ish goals performance in that bottom 6. And he's a big body, too. Big body, nice to have on the second power play unit.
Oh, yeah.
Still likes to shoot the puck. The offensive touch is still there. The skating, yeah, obviously the skating has gone away a bit, but you need those locker room guys, especially when you're going to be a young team. So I really like what I've seen out of Kevin Hayes this season. Overall, just, a really good, just all positive from Kevin Hayes' perspective.
Yeah, he's an easy guy to cheer for. His brother passing, who actually was with the Penguins at one point. I don't know if he played in the NHL.
No, he
with
did.
them.
He did not. He played in only in the Wilkes-Barre.
I just remember in NHL 19, he was on the roster.
Yeah, you would have. Yeah,
Penguins, but easy guy to root for. tough. He lost his brother. He lost his best buddy, Johnny Gaudreau.
Yep.
That aside, though, he's just always been kind of a funny dude. I love interviews with him. He's a true Bostonian.
He is. He's very, he is a very, so is Mike Sullivan. A true Boston born and bred type of person, chip on your shoulder kind of mentality. And it's got him this far in life, so might as well. And no point in changing what's not broke. So
for sure.
But no, I mean, other than that, the Penguins win 5-0. There's not too much to say about this game other than the Penguins get another 2 points. They get some payback for Sunday. But I mean, around the rest of the league is kind of where all the drama is right now. You have the game of the night. Well, two quality games tonight, big time games. Florida beats Toronto 3-1. That game being in Florida.
Yeah.
And this is a tight race for this Atlantic Division. Toronto, with 5 games left, has 98 points. Tampa, with 5 games left, has 96 points. And Florida, with now 4 games left, has 94 points. So Florida basically needed this game to stay alive and actually to even fend off a hard-charging Ottawa team right now. But Florida wins, and Ottawa, I believe, Ottawa got blown out by the Blue Jackets tonight. So they open up a little breathing space for that 3rd spot. But this Atlantic division is going to come right down to it. Toronto holds the advantage, but Tampa's just right now. Tampa's terrifying,
dude. It's scary because they're heating up at the right time. But the scariest thing is that goaltender Vasilevsky.
Yeah,
he seems to. I don't know. he's looking like doesn't lose 2 games in a row in the playoffs. Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
That's the scariest thing, right? I mean, also, we talked about that great stat you pulled the other day, last time we recorded. Tampa might have 3 40-goal scorers. Gensel's close. Braden Point, I think, just got 40. And Kucherov, he's close as well. Florida, they're so banged up right now. It's just kind of I don't know what the word is, because you don't know Matthew Tkachuk is very hurt, and who's the fella? Ekblad got suspended.
Yeah, he's out.
He'll be back for the 2nd game of the playoffs, I think.
I believe that's right. Yeah.
Everyone else, I kind of wonder if they're, the old term, hurt, not injured. I wonder if they're resting some of these guys so they can be as fresh as possible. Florida seems like, out of Toronto, Tampa, and Florida, Florida seems like the least concerned about where they slot, because they're a bunch of just honey badgers. Yeah. If you're Toronto with their history, actually for them it doesn't even matter because of their history. They could get the bottom seed, they could get a good matchup, they might just squander it. But if you're Toronto, you want to finish first, don't you?
I mean, I think your best odds of advancing your Toronto, and not saying they can't beat Tampa Bay or Florida, is to take on Ottawa in that first round. Again, would not be an easy series and would be very, very funny if they lose it.
You just I think Ottawa's beaten Toronto every game this year.
Do it 4 more times then, because that would be maybe the funniest possible outcome. The funniest outcome would be Toronto losing to Montreal if that matchup happened. There would have to be.
Could that happen?
There's an outside chance.
Need to look at the standings.
Montreal is 3 points behind Ottawa, even on games played. So they'd need Ottawa to lose some, and Montreal would have to keep winning.
Canadians waxed the Red Wings tonight too. The Red Wings stink.
The Red Wings have definitely fallen off. The Red Wings or the Canadians now can basically wrap up a playoff spot if the Rangers lose 1 more game. So Montreal is in prime position to wrap up that final playoff spot. So we're getting down to it right now. The Capitals, Carolina lost tonight. They lost to Buffalo. That gives Montreal. It gives Washington the Metropolitan title, so that's wrapped up. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's getting pretty. The gaps widening in the East with that last wild card spot. The Rangers basically have to win out. Detroit basically has to win out. Columbus basically has to win out. It's just, it's not looking promising for anybody else right now in the East.
If I'm anybody, you want to see New Jersey. I mean, they lost their superstar, Jack Hughes. They lost Dougie Hamilton. Markstrom, is he injured or does he just suck again?
I think he just sucks again.
Dude, they're at 89 points.
That matchup is actually set now. I mean, well, not officially set because the Rangers could technically, if the Rangers would win out and New Jersey would lose out.
Laviolette said he's not even going in the locker room after games. They're done. Do you see that quote?
Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, he knows that he's on his way out too.
Laviolette was asked something about, what do you do for your team, and he says, "I have no idea what to do. I'm not even going into the locker room after these games."
Yeah, so the Rangers, they're pretty much out of it. Meaning Carolina and New Jersey is really the only matchup it's not officially set, but that is basically set in stone. And if I'm Carolina, man, it's again, anything can happen in the playoffs. That just feels like it's a buzzsaw waiting to go right through that Jersey team.
Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anybody would probably be able to just mince through that team. It sucks because they were such a it seemed that Keith kind of breathed some new life into them. And they were so dominant at the beginning of the year. But without Jack Hughes and Dougie Hamilton, that's your number one. Is Jack Hughes a centerman or is he a winger?
He is center, but I think he can play either position.
Either you lose you lose your top forward and then you lose your top power play defenseman. I mean, that's what happens. So Carolina, if they get paired up with Jersey, that's just an easy path to the second round.
Yeah, that's not the way that things are trending for Jersey. That is not a friendly matchup by any means whatsoever. So, that is basically the only matchup that's really set right now. Washington is well on their way to being the top seed in the East, meaning they'll get the second. I don't want to play Montreal right now either. I don't care if I'm the Capitals or if I'm Toronto. I don't want to play Montreal right now either. Especially like if you lose a game at home, you're going to that building. All the momentum in Game 3 is on their shoulders. Oh man, that building's going to be absolutely a madhouse.
Yeah, and with that Washington goalie, I mean, Washington, everyone's kind of thinking about, the first thing on your mind is Ovi and this goal chase. But dude, because the Capitals are losing games, like their deficiencies are showing a bit.
Yeah,
they lost that goalie Logan Thompson. I think he's out, and they lost that just gorilla of a human Alexi Protas. That dude he had like 5 goals last year, and now he has like 35 or something like that.
Absurd, yeah.
And they have his little brother drafted too. But he's week to week, man. Like if you're limping into the playoffs as Washington, and it kind of feels like you already kind of you celebrated Ovi. Not that can work for you, I think, but I could also see it working against you. I don't know, dude. My point is, I'd be nervous going in against the Habs because the Habs have something special kind of cooking. And that is his name Ivan Demidov?
I believe so.
He's like their KHL defensive prospect that basically is like, he's the Lane Hudson of the KHL, but he's like way more productive. He's coming over. He's on a plane right now flying over the Atlantic Ocean.
I did see that. So he should be, maybe for their next game, he's in the lineup, which makes them all the more dangerous, which is terrifying, really.
You know what terrified me? And I'll tell you this. You can look it up. It came out today. I saw it just looking through news. Ivan Demidov has a $525,000 bonus in his clause in his contract if he wins the Conn Smythe this year.
Oh, geez. That'd be insane, wouldn't it?
It would be insane, but, dude, there's a reason it was written in there. There's a reason that they arbitrated for that. And it's like,
Absolutely.
maybe when you're writing up a contract, you could throw all sorts of nuts stuff in there that like are just a hope and a prayer. But dude, that guy seems like the real deal. I mean, KHL is a different game than the NHL, and he's young, but I think that dude's got all the confidence in the world. I've watched a couple interviews with him. I think that dude is poised for the NHL. A 1-2 punch of Lane Hudson and that kid. I mean, good luck.
Good night. Yeah, good luck is for sure. But yeah, the Capitals are starting. You also wonder, like, how much energy did that entire chase take on this team? I mean, how much just it throws you off. Like, okay, now the hype's gone. Now it's like, okay, 900. Okay, what? Yeah, first night.
How do you rebound, right?
Yeah, like, because it feels like for a while they were feeding off that. Once it became clear that, like, okay, this is like he's gonna get it this year, like you kind of fed off that, and now that's pretty much gone. But now you have to find a way to, again, you shouldn't have any trouble getting up for the playoffs, but you've lived with that all year. You just hope that you can continue rolling once the postseason starts.
It could be tough. Like that's where I'm at, and I'm not. That's not me as a Penguins fan. I'm taking the bias out of it. I just think any team, you're going through something like emotional roller coaster like that. You're celebrating your captain. Like it would be hard to kind of just like get back to like the basics of hockey. Like Ovi, like going into the playoffs, like you're not going to be just defaulting to him. You know what I mean? Like you got to go back to that team was so well-rounded. Like everyone was kind of contributing. They had the depth going, good defense. They had great goaltending. It's got to go back to that team game. And I don't know, how do you adjust back to that? I'm sure I don't know. I was a little skeptical about Washington to begin with going into the playoffs. Great regular season. I mean, we've seen Washington historically. It's nothing new to Penguins fans. Washington has had great regular seasons in the past, but it never. We see how many cups that resulted in.
Well, they really had to have a quote unquote down year to finally put it all together and go on a cup run. Like they had to have the spotlight off of them a little bit, kind of fly under the radar rather than being the favorite.
Yeah, God, that 2018 year was kind of weird, huh?
Yeah, because the Penguins were coming off back-to-back cups. I'm trying to think I still think Washington won the division, but they weren't like the world beaters they were the 2 years before that they won the President's Cup in.
Well, all eyes were on Pittsburgh to see what they were going to do in the playoffs.
And the Penguins went up 2-1 in that series, and people were thinking just like, oh man, this is no way this can happen again. And then they finally slayed the dragon, and at that point they were just unstoppable.
Yeah, that boosted them for sure.
Yeah, I think once they got over it, like, and that's kind of a trend you've seen throughout sports and history. Like, okay, they finally got over that hump. Well, now they can breathe.
Yeah, now it's easy almost.
Yeah, now it's literally like, it's like, yeah, the pressure's off now. Like we got over the worst part. We just got to finish the deal now.
Boy, yeah, that was an interesting year. It was also weird because Vegas had just come into the league. I don't know. This year, it'll be like we'll do brackets at some point. I tell you what, you're not going to see my final two teams in the Stanley Cup final. It's not going to be Washington, no matter how they finish up the regular season. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think they, again, a lot of points. They're right there. They could win the President's Trophy yet, but I just don't see them as one of the top tier favorites. I just don't see it.
Do you believe in that President's Trophy curse?
I think somebody did the math on it, and yeah, they don't always win the cup, but it positions you best to make a deep run. Yeah, obviously it's always hot. Like if you're the President's Trophy winner and you lose in the first round, that's always going to be like a spotlight right on you. But somebody did the math, and like you're best set up to at least like make the conference finals if you're the President's Trophy winner. And at that point, it's basically a crapshoot between the final four teams.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that curse. You don't want to like lose games because of this like superstition regarding that, but I just feel like winning the regular season and like if you get a banner for that and you're putting like, emphasis on that, I mean, it's the regular season. Like look at the LA Kings. Like, remember when they were like the 8th seed and they just ran the table and like what didn't they won? I want to say they won 2 cups like that sort of.
Which team was this?
The LA Kings in the mid 2010s.
The first year they were an 8 seed. 2012 they were an 8 seed and just buzzsawed through literally the entire.
And they were like drinking every night. They were partying all the time.
Just an absolute machine.
Yeah.
2014. I think they played 25. They played 21 games. They played the max through 3 rounds. They played 3 7-game series and then a 5-game series. So they played 22 of a maximum 21. Sorry, they played 26 of a maximum 28 games in 2014.
Is that where Brian, or was his name Brian Williams?
Justin Williams?
Justin Williams got Mr. Game 7.
Yeah, because they were down 3-0 to the Sharks and came all the way back.
Insane.
Forget who they beat in the second round, and then had a classic 7-gamer against the Blackhawks, which ended on an Alec Martinez overtime winner, and then they pretty much beat the Rangers into submission in 5 games. That Alec Martinez scored the overtime winner to
overtime.
Yep.
That was a great Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that was they were more favored that year.
They were more favored. Okay.
Yeah, 2012 they kind of came out of the blue.
2012 they were the Washington Capitals of last year going into the playoffs pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And then
they kind of just they took out Vancouver.
Yeah,
and they just rolled.
God, the West was just a animal back then.
Yeah, it was a real animal.
Yeah, I don't know. But as far as this year going in the playoffs, let's give out a teaser. Who's your Stanley, or who's your, since we're a Penguins podcast coming out of the East, who is the most dangerous team for you right now that you think is poised to make the deep run?
Tampa Bay.
You think it's Tampa? Yeah,
yep.
I guess it's hard to argue that one. Dude, I'll tell you who I don't think it is. I don't think it's Toronto.
Honestly, Toronto, maybe this is like the 2018 for Toronto. Maybe this is their Capitals year. But I could also see them getting knocked out in the first round.
Well, it's funny you say that because you're like, yeah, maybe this year they've got the right pieces and they still don't have a goaltender. They've never
playing musical chairs. Yeah.
They're playing musical chairs with goaltending. They definitely beefed up their defense, but like there's just something like, I swear, whoever they face in the first round, I'm like, if they play Ottawa in the first round, the Battle of Ontario, I don't know. I think Brady Tkachuk will make mincemeat out of them. Like, I feel like, and Dylan Cousins, that guy he's never played in the playoffs. That guy might be a playoff animal the way he plays.
Yeah.
You give them any other team, it's just like, well, I don't really see Toronto coming out of a dogfight like that with those kind of teams. So I'm going to go with your pick. I'll probably say Tampa Bay too, just because, dude, they said smell you later to Steven Stamkos. And
yeah.
And they just were like, we'll take a younger guy on the left side, Jake Gensel. Oh, but how will it work with no right shot on that side? Doesn't matter. You got Kucherov.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll have to do a playoff episode soon because they just announced, I think, was it today or yesterday, that the playoffs officially start the 20th.
I'll do the 20th?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sunday, the 20th. So
I think we don't know who yet exactly.
Probably not.
But that will be the first, dude, a Sunday in April with a bunch of playoff games. Sign me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Sunday, give me 4 playoff games that Sunday. Just all throughout the day, and yeah, perfect start to the playoffs.
Maybe Uber Eats action and like five ice cold beers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds good to me, Robbie. Well, we'll be here to cover that. When's the next Penguins game?
Friday. They're out in Newark to wrap up the season series with the Devils.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be an interesting one.
Yep. So
That's all I got, Robbie. We can wrap this up.
All right. So, yeah, Penguins win 5-0. We are into the final, basically, days of the NHL regular season now. Most eyes will be on the playoff chases. And, hey, when it's all said and done, we'll be back to talk about the end of this season for the Penguins and then look forward to the playoffs for the rest of the NHL. But for this episode, I'm Robbie. That is Snail. We will talk to you guys later this week.